thing. And also, maybe you can use this for your website or what have you. As
Yeah,
far
I
as
always repost, reshare
yeah,
anything that comes out. I
all
want to
right.
make sure you're getting some
You're live. Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Manny, and I'm here with the one and only Miss Tasia. I'm so sorry I forgot your last name because that's how we do things around here. Can you tell me your full name for me?
I don't know if I should feel some kind of way, but people like to know that I'm a doctor. So Dr. Tasia Cerezo.
Stop it.
Yeah.
See, I listen, I was slacking on my research. I missed the doctor part.
So you told me you did research, and
I
clearly
did.
I'm not sure anymore.
Right? Can you trust me now?
I'm working on it. It's one of the things that I don't lead with. Even having multiple conversations with folks.
Not, but you earned that.
I did, but it's also I feel disconnected.
You're
like humble. It's an education.
You're too humble.
And I work in community, and so it's all good. Anyway. I'm Tasia. Anywhere I go, I'm Tasia.
All right, Tasia, Meryl's Safe Haven, which is really the reason why we're here today. The amazing organization that is Meryl's Safe Haven. And I'm going to let you explain a little bit. I'm going to give them a little brief oversight, which essentially, from what I know, is providing transitional assistance to young people that are aging out of foster care, but also providing emergency housing assistance for families.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
You got that right.
All right. So a little bit of research.
Some of it worked in your favor.
Yeah.
I'll add a little bit. And so we are an organization that also, as you mentioned, provide shelter to families. Yep. And so Meryl Safe Haven was created. Our why, our mission is named after my aunt. And we were created to provide resources and shelter to young people aging out of the foster care system. As a pre-adoptive parent myself, when my aunt said that was something that she wanted to do, I said, do you know how hard that would be? Yeah. And her first thing was, I didn't say I would be there. Right. I just said that I was going to do it. And so, it's double folded in the sense that unfortunately she isn't here, but we do get to live on.
In the physical form.
Yes.
I believe we're all here in some sense, energy or spiritually.
We ask them for guidance for a reason, right? Yeah. And so we provide that support. We just did a ribbon cutting for our youth house on October 31st.
Congratulations.
Sorry you weren't there, maybe,
I am sorry I wasn't there.
Maybe next time.
I'm going to say, Maria, I know you're watching. I need these updates sooner, please.
He needs all the details.
Yes, I need the details.
And so the other part of that is our family shelter. We are the service providers for the Safety Net, which is a state-based program that started last year. Actually 2023 at the end of the year, and they're phasing out. Yeah. But we are pretty flexible in that opportunity, as it means to provide shelter to families who are EA approved and just waiting for placement.
What does that mean, EA approved?
Emergency assistance. It's one of those short terms that folks use that is connected to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Community, which means that you meet all the qualifications, basically.
So let me ask you, you said that, this was Meryl's dream, Auntie Meryl. Is that okay if we say Auntie Meryl?
That's okay.
She would like that, right? If it was Auntie Meryl's dream to make this happen, and you saw it through, why do you think Aunt Meryl felt like this was an important challenge to take on?
Well, some days I'm not really sure. She had children of her own. I have cousins. We lost one 10 years prior to her passing. He was a couple months younger than me. And it was just something she did. Like, I write blogs about my journey, especially to startup, because we were talking earlier. I want people to know that it looks easy on some days, but it is challenging. And there's things that, even as someone who taught nonprofit management and leadership, there was things I just didn't know. Right. And so I want folks to know that it's a journey we're taking, but it is challenging.
Well, and I mean, housing generally, just as a systemic issue, is extremely challenging. Never mind trying to, assist people that need emergency assistance, because at the end of the day, housing is a business, and their bottom line is the bottom dollar, correct?
It is. In a lot of ways. Every person there's a formula that goes into every placement. Yeah. It just is. And even for me, at the end of the day, it's like, well, they just need help. Right. I had to also.
So how do you navigate that? Where obviously, if you need emergency assistance, I can't see a big savings there to help you be able to pay to get to transition into secure and safe housing. How does Meryl's Safe Haven assist in those families that obviously can't pay right away?
Yeah, it's multi-layered. I think that part of the work that we do is ensuring that families are saving. When you start working, so a huge group of our folks that came in for our congregate shelter, especially, they were new arrivals to America. And so helping them to also understand, like, you need to save money, you need to get a job. But for a lot of them, they had to start with just papers, like getting permits to work and all meeting those expectations. But at the baseline of everything we do is how do we ensure that they're saving money. So when you do make that transition, you have something that even for our youth, like this is a main thing. How do you have something that most adults don't have, which is a savings account in the event of an emergency? And so if we talk about transition, it starts with saving.
Right. So with that being said, it just gets my gears to turn to think of our youth that are in foster care. How do you where do you start that intervention? You know, I mean, does it come to a point where these children have moved on from their foster families and now find themselves technically homeless before we are able to intervene and, you know, teach them how to work and start saving and all that stuff? Or do you get there before they age out?
In the ideal world, we would. Unfortunately, we don't. Many programs are just not equipped to do that. What we see is young people about, I would say 11 as the earliest, definitely by 13, most young people who aren't adopted in the foster care system, they don't get adopted. Yeah. And so if they're not moving from, it is. A lot of people, unfortunately, just don't want older children. And so when you're looking at a system, like, yes, I'm a foster parent, that is all they intend to do. So you're going to stay with me a couple years. By 17, 18, as a young person, you're already making that plan to transition out. So what does that mean for me? Do I have a savings account? Most of them don't. They don't have a safety net. They have health insurance benefits and other opportunities to benefit from the system.
But those are provided by the state.
But they don't know how to tap into it. Right.
And so to transition into their own, being able to carry.
There's even vouchers available for them to transition into housing. But if you are so jaded by a system and you're trying to get out as soon as possible, once you cut your ties, you're like, good luck to them.
And if you're not aware of the resources.
Right. But it's also good luck to me, right? Because you're just over it. You feel like you have been left, abandoned by a variety of things. And as we were talking before, the trauma, right? How do you heal from that to say, I can be successful and I will move on?
Yeah. And that's one of the other issues that I really wanted to tap into with this is when you're talking about children in foster care, I would say 100%, and that's just my own numbers in my head, so don't quote me on that. But honestly, in my heart of hearts, I do believe 100% of all children that go to foster care have some sort of trauma. You cannot be abandoned or taken away from your biological parents and that not traumatize you, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And we know science shows, research shows, right, that you even experience trauma while you're in the womb. Right. Yeah. And so if your biological parents have some other things going on, where there is drug usage, where there is physical abuse,
like or even emotional abuse,
or emotional, like all those things are draining because you are connected to this human being, right? You're also experiencing that thing. And so for even another family to adopt you or foster you, you're still trying to figure those things out of like, what's the history here? Right. And how do I best provide support to this young person?
Right. And so with that, you know, do you see foster families making an effort to assist these children to independent living? Or do you feel like it's kind of like a systemic thing where, you know what I'm saying, everybody's getting their check. Next thing you know, this child's 18 and it's like, whoa, what are we going to do? And it's kind of an emergency situation.
It's kind of hard to not generalize here, but
I know. And no offense to foster parents, we love you. Thank you so much. I know I'm making foster parents sound evil. I don't mean to do that. We love you. We appreciate you, and we know that it's not an easy challenge to take on to raise somebody else's child, especially with the trauma that comes with them as your own. It's not easy. So, you know, much love and respect to you all.
I also think about this because I mentioned to you that I'm a pre-adoptive parent myself. And so even for foster parents, yes, it's challenging to do all of those things, but you're also sometimes up against a system, an entire system where one person will say to you, well, that's not my department. And they just pass the buck. Right. And so it is challenging work. Even as a parent, you're thinking about I have to work 8 hours and I still have to come home and have full 100% energy because my child needs that attention and love. Right. It's challenging work. I would say that there are some foster parents who are completely at 18, you need to transition. We're done in a lot of ways, unfortunately. Then I think there are foster parents who are just like, I'm not an adoptive parent, but I want to give you the skills and the tools to succeed. I feel like we see that a bit far less, but I think there are foster parents who out there like, I want to make sure you're successful even after you transition out of my home.
Yeah, and I mean, that's like with every group of people or community or what have you, you can't blanket statement everybody, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I did there for a minute. So I apologize for that. You know, sometimes it's me. It's just me.
We get caught up.
I'm the problem. It's me. No, but yeah. Are we gonna get charged for that?
Just this side of the room, if there's anything coming down.
Yeah, Taylor over here. No, but we can't overgeneralize, but we have to pay attention to who is moving how and what we're doing in order to be able to find these children, young people who actually need these services.
Yeah.
How is Meryl Safe Haven being proactive there? Or is it just a sense of like, we need to make our community aware of the resources so that they can reach out and get that assistance that we need?
Both. We're doing all those things in a sense of being proactive. Proactive. You said proactive. We're making sure.
Listen, again, it's me. I'm the problem.
It's one of those things. We're making sure that we are making the connection with DCF. Again, it's a system that it can be challenging to work with, but we want to make sure that if they are aware of a young person transitioning out, that we're there to help.
Oh, so that's dope. So you have a DCF as an agency communicating with you so that we can catch these cases before they become...
Their adolescent unit. Yeah, we have had them... what you got going on today? We have had them showing up to some of our bits, our ribbon cutting and all that stuff. And so they want to make the connection with us and build a relationship, and they're keeping in contact with us. And so when there's youth that become in that middle space of that transition, they do let us know. We're continuing to build relationships with youth serving agencies in the city. More importantly, if they're here in Worcester, someone typically knows about them. And how do we get in to make the connection? I will also admit that social workers of DCF mostly have been the folks who have made referrals for us and to us. And so we have that discussion with them. We get in contact with the youth and we say, what do you want to do? Because you can say, like, here's an opportunity, but if they're not in that place, it's just like anything else. If they're not ready to do it, it's just not going to happen.
Right. And I can imagine there's a lot of young people who don't even know, like they don't even realize that they maybe are at a time in their lives where they should be ready, or they should be trying to get ready, which I'm sure could be quite challenging. What do you guys do in a case like that to try to encourage the young folks to take this help and resources? Because at the end of the day, one thing that we really have to try to do is make sure that our community is safe and they have a good foundation, roof over the head, clothes on their body, and food in their stomachs. But again, we're talking about traumatized people who don't necessarily... They got other things going on where maybe that's not a priority for them, especially when they're already in the comfort and security of a home as a foster home.
Well, sometimes they're not, right? Because by the time they come to us... I don't know that. Tell me about that. Well, sometimes by the time, especially we see this foster youth, they're already about in the community. Okay. Either they are homeless or they will become homeless. And when I say become homeless is the foster parent has already said, you're about to be 18. You need a plan. Or they have decided that I'm at the age where I can sign myself out of the system, and they just walk away.
Right.
And so by the time they get to us, they are housing insecure already, or at the risk of becoming housing insecure.
When you say that, I tend to think if they're coming to you, then they have at least some kind of motivation to change their circumstance.
One would think. Sometimes it's just the need of shelter.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. And so sometimes it's, I don't have anywhere to go. But we're not an organization that says, okay, you just need a place to sleep. We're saying we want to prepare you for what's next. You're not a shelter. Right. We're not just, our base is education, right? As
for independent living.
For independent living. But so you can lay things out. For us, it's the elements that we have: financial education, support in identifying a career. If you want to go to school, we're going to provide you support for that. Savings account. And in the mix of all of that, some young people, I shouldn't even just say some young people, some adults don't know how to cook.
Some grown folk.
They can't boil an egg.
I'm just saying. We see your plates on Facebook.
And some of them look scary. And so when we're just not talking about shelter alone, you're talking about how do I survive? All these things that sometimes we take for granted, right? Because we don't have to worry about if we turn the knob, if the shower's going to come on, right? So we're trying to prepare them for everything to come next, not just I have shelter. But we know that you're more willing to engage in any process if your basic needs are met.
So yeah, one thing that you just made me think of as you were saying that is the emotional and mental aspect of it all. Sometimes we got to get through that in order to get to responsibilities or self-care.
For a second there, I thought you did your homework, because that's the other thing I did mention, that we also offer group reflection.
Okay.
That was good. I like that. That was a nice transition.
Listen, I can be a professional from time to time.
Yeah, I like it. You did something. That's a good setup. And so the other element that I actually haven't touched on at all is part of the program is that they are expected, they are required to engage in what we're calling group reflection. I say that because some of us are afraid of the word therapy, right? Yeah. But it's an opportunity for them to sit as this unit of young people with similar experiences and just talk through that with professional support.
And they know they're not alone.
Right.
Which is one of the more important things, because a lot of times we're going through all these problems and we're like, why is life so evil to me? When in reality, life's just hard for everybody.
It's
not everybody. There's some of y'all out there who were born into the easy life, but that's like, I don't know how many percent, but it's not a lot of us. So, we all have struggles.
We all have struggles. And, whether it's depression, and people often ask me about like the creation of Meryl Safe Haven. If I hadn't created Meryl Safe Haven when I did, I can't tell you where I would be right now, because it was such a heavy thing at that point.
I'm curious, what do you think you would have been? Like when you were a kid, some people say, oh, I want to be a police officer. What would you have been?
It depends on the point in life.
I started, too. Yeah,
I really wanted to be the next Fraser Crane. I don't know if I'm dating myself. Fraser was a radio psychologist.
Oh.
It's a TV show.
I should know that.
And so I studied.
Wait, Fraser.
Fraser.
Yeah, I didn't know his last name. See, that's why.
I don't know last time I seen it.
But yeah, Fraser. Wow.
I used to watch it every day with my brother.
I never heard anyone say I would want to grow up to be Fraser. That's amazing.
I wanted to be a psychologist. In fact, I studied psychology when I got my bachelor's because I thought I was going to do that. And then I was like, nah, I can't do that.
But it still fits into what you do, which is pretty dope.
It's connected. And then later I said that this is kind of where it connects. I did 4 years of JROTC. I had planned to go to the military. And after I got out of the military, my next goal was going to become a police officer.
Oh, wow. It's like I almost knew. I swear we didn't have this conversation.
We did not. And then I was going to open a nonprofit in the city I served. And so I still got here full circle in some ways, right?
Wow.
But this wasn't the road I had intended to take. Through some other challenges of working in higher education, I decided to get a doctorate because it was so difficult in some spaces. I was like, I'm going to create my own table. Yeah. And I'm going to get that doctorate so I can move up in the chain of respect in an institution that's not really created to support me. And I still plan to get there.
Sorry, finish that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to.
All these ideas come in.
But when you speak about creating your own table, that's one of the things I did want to ask you. Not just for you as the organization CEO and developer, really, but also for the young folks that you're serving, or folks in period that you're serving, demographic wise, what are the challenges you're seeing?
I think there's a lot of challenges. There's really just a lot of barriers to a variety of things. I would say some of the biggest challenges that I can spread across the board is just assets, right? If you can't actually get to something, you don't feel like it's made for you, then you feel like it's not touchable, right? Mm-hmm. It's intangible. And so I think being able to, sometimes for me, we were kind of talking about this earlier, it's like, I'm not from Worcester.
Right.
I've lived in Worcester as of December for 3 years, but I'm getting to build an entire network, right? And as a part of that network, I get to then provide support to my families that I have in shelter. I get to provide support to young people that will come through our doors as well. And so most people know, and I had to learn in some ways, is that you're in Worcester or you're not, right? And so for some of that, it's just beginning to make the connections to say, these are the organizations that I'm connected to. These are our allies in this work. And these are the folks who I can at least just, I know we don't use potty words, but I can shoot the shit with, right? Yeah. And just be able to sit in the space as a CEO that can be a very lonely space because you really are passionate about this work. But that also is the thing that's going to put you a little behind because you can't keep going.
Right.
It's hard to just keep going, but you have to. You feel like you have to.
Right. And I really want to know, and I guess this is what I was trying to set up with the last question that I just asked is,
trying to tell me I lost track?
No, I lost track.
Okay.
You know, race and financial ability or financial status, I guess, is really where I was trying to go with that. Is how do those two play a role, not only in the demographics you're serving, but in trying to get, people in the community to get on board with what you're doing. Let's be real. Like, a lot of the money doesn't necessarily come from marginalized communities. You know where I'm going?
Yeah, I get you. I pick up.
Tell me how that works for you as an organization trying to get sustainability and resources to be able to put out into the community, and also how the young people are affected. Like, do you see more of a certain group, whether it's financial or race wise, when it comes to the young people? And do you find any challenges in that?
You're going to be surprised by this because I was surprised by it. I did a presentation earlier this week for a meeting taking place at City Hall. And so I was looking at the referrals that have come in. We have had more referrals sent from young white people than other races.
Wow. That is surprising, to be honest.
I was surprised too. I think the most surprising part about it is we know that especially Black and Hispanic families are more likely to have children removed for things that are just culturally appropriate, right? We were talking about how we engage in discipline, and someone else sees that and there's like, well, hey, what's that, right? Culturally appropriate again.
Like, you throw a chancla at the kid, right?
Yeah. You know it's like, it's just to get your attention, right? You don't really want to hurt
We aren't really trying to kill him. We're just trying to, a little cocotazo on the head.
A little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
We survived. We did it.
Look how good we're doing.
Oh, we're great, right? We turned out well. The data shows that they are more likely to be taken out of their households.
Yeah.
And so I think when we're talking later down the line placement, I think we'll see more of a nice mix because the system is I think there's great diversity in the DCF system.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But again, when we go from age to race, Black and brown children are just also less likely to be adopted.
Wow.
So I know we were talking more about a finance question.
Well, for me, it was more of a systemic question.
Okay.
Like, what are the challenges that we're seeing on both sides? Just not, as far as like, are there a lot of a specific demographic, which you just explained, that are aging out and need the assistance?
Yep.
And then is there a specific demographic that's available to you, or, is it a challenge to be able to get those resources in to then provide for the young people?
I think it's a mixed bag of tricks right now because shelter is needed so much across the board. We're seeing some good opportunity as far as grants and available resources. So right now, I feel fortunate, but also unfortunate that we're filling such a huge gap in the community that it feels a little too easy right now. Okay. But I know the challenges will come. And as a CEO, this is where I lose sleep. When we talk about sustainability for myself as an organization, I want to ensure that we have something. I was just talking to my board about this last night. We need to develop something that continues to allow resources. And so when the state says we're $450 million in a deficit, we don't know if we'll be able to pay you. I need to make sure that we can continue to go in the absence of that. And so that is one of the areas that I'm currently working on, because I want to also provide an opportunity for young people to gain job experience. So workforce development is something that we add to Meryl Safe Haven that says anyone who walks through our doors, if they're having some challenges because of a lack of skill, we have a place to send them that is connected to the organization. They can get support, they can have supervision, and they can still get paid to do so.
And be able to sustain their own situation. So
yes.
That's great. Listen, there's so much more for us to talk about. And, speaking of paying bills, we got bills to pay too. And we want to thank our amazing sponsors who allow us to be here each and every week to bring amazing people like Meryl Safe Haven to you. So, John, do me a favor and show the people who show us so much love. organizations like Meryl Safe Haven exist. Hey, yo, welcome back, everybody, to Manny J Media Interviews with the one and only Miss Dr. Tasia. Excuse me, Dr. Tasia. No, we need to put some respect on that because one, it ain't cheap to get a degree, and two, it's a lot of hard work.
It is.
And so congratulations, you earned it, you deserve it. Meryl Safe Haven is with us today, everybody. Thank you so much. And can we just go over one more time for people who may just be joining us? Who is Meryl? I guess R is appropriate. Who is Meryl Safe Haven?
I didn't major in English. I'm not really sure. So Meryl Safe Haven is a nonprofit organization here in the city of Worcester. I like to put emphasis on the city of Worcester because people have asked, will we expand outside of Worcester? The answer right now is no.
You're focusing on
our community. When I say our community, I live in Worcester.
Yes.
And so I want to ensure that I'm creating a community also better for my children. We provide shelter and resources to young people aging out of the foster care system. That is our mission. That is our why. But we also are a family shelter provider here in the city.
Excellent. And much needed, as you can tell. Right now, the city of Worcester, and really the entire country, if I'm going to be real, is going through unprecedented housing crisis. A lot of people are being priced out of their housing, just because everything in the world just seems to be getting more expensive for no particular reason. Actually, I think my theory is, maybe if we stop sending so many millions of dollars everywhere around the world to fund war, we could probably do a lot more for our own.
I'm not touching that.
But, and you don't have to. That's why I said it's my particular failing. And it's a tale as old as time. Honestly, it is what it is. Governments do what they do. And that's why it's important for us as people, as a community, to really do what we got to do to handle ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, we got to be real about that. We can't cry over what we can't control. But what we can do is put that effort that we would be putting into complaining and crying into actually being productive, which is what Meryl Safe Haven is all about. And so we were talking about challenges, specifically systemic issues that can get in the way of community projects being successful and being around for a long time to be able to help people who need that transitional assistance. What are some of the biggest challenges Meryl Safe Haven has come against, and how did you overcome them?
I think one of the biggest challenges, and we're not over it, so I'm going to be frank about that because I think we're seeing it across the board, is hiring people. Right? We hear a lot that people are looking for work, but when you go and you look at resumes and stuff, and it's just like, this is not a good fit. I think you have potential, but I think you need some more support. But if you look at the fact that you need to hire to run, especially for us, a 24/7 organization, you also need those resources. And so you're seeing a lot of support around workforce development opportunities, which are great. But I think one of the major things that we lost during the pandemic is just the ability to be in person and connect with people. And so that has also kind of reduced the people skills that is definitely needed in this world. So,
and not just the pandemic. I don't mean to interrupt, but not just the pandemic. I feel like people have lost social. They just don't know how to talk. Ever since this technology era kicked in, and people can go and be keyboard thugs and say what's on their mind online, just social interaction has really been lacking. Dude, people just don't know how to. Empathy is being lost. So.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I think it's easy to put it at the place of the pandemic, right? Because we were so secluded for so long, right? And so there are generations of folks who never even entered the workforce, right? Graduated from college online, got their first jobs online, right? A Zoom interview. They worked online for so long, and so that engagement and that interaction that so many of us who are already in the workforce, and empathy, it's not there. And sometimes I go to a store and I'm like, I don't say smile because they happy to say that to people of color, but it's like, just engage, have a conversation with people. I don't care what your job is. You're just as important as the CEO of this business or organization, but how do we ensure that we're also just engaging with people? That's a person, whether they're ringing you out at the grocery store or not. How's your day going?
Right.
What's going on with
you? And
you?
without that, there's that lack of empathy and really knowledge, intelligence of others, and it comes back to like judging on the surface type thing. Like the RBF, right? Rest in space.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's I'm that person sometimes.
I get that all the time.
You know what I mean? But once you get past that tough exterior, there's usually like the sweetest, most mushy, loving individual. That is, you are. Stop it. Underneath that exterior, you can't get to know that if you're not interacting with people physically and in their presence. And so, yeah, I agree with you in that. That is a great challenge. It's getting people back on the plane of really caring about each other and being nice. Yeah. Have you noticed we kind of lost being nice to each other?
Yeah, just the simplicity of just being nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started writing blogs, especially, it was like, be nice. Like, that's just like, be kind. Like, one of the major things, and I talk about this with the commissioner all the time, is she kind of helped us get started with will you be the service provider for the safety net? And so I wrap up blogs a lot with like, you might be the last person that person sees. Yeah. Like, you just don't really know what people are carrying. Right. And until we can understand that as people, like, I want to say like community, but it goes beyond what's like everywhere. We're losing that ability to just connect with people. The realization that we are all going through so much. And one of the things I say a lot is like, a lot of us want this ride to stop. Like, it's just constantly going. You don't have an opportunity to slow down.
Right. And we're so focused on what other people are doing and calling them out on it that we're forgetting to do what we need to do to better our society as a whole on an individual level. You can't focus on what other people are doing and be able to do.
But also think, like, what other people think, right? So it's like, well, I can't do that because, like, be you. Just be you.
Exactly.
There's only one you.
Right.
Somebody appreciated it somewhere.
That's right.
And then you see stuff online. We want to judge. But I'm like, I had to literally say to myself the other day, it's like, who are you to judge?
Right.
Cut that out. Stop doing that.
Yeah. Get to know the uniqueness behind it, each individual, and embrace that we all bring something different to the overall picture. That ultimately, if we just be kind and
have a chat,
get a mic, a little bit of empathy, we can
Mm-hmm.
actually do a lot of work together in making our world a much better place to live. But we are almost out of time, and I want to make sure that we bring it back to Meryl Safe Haven and really get that message out there. Let's talk about how people can learn more about you. Now, you're everywhere. I saw you got social media page. You have a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Very easy to navigate. Beautiful pictures. Nice big words so that people like me who don't like to read can absorb the information easily.
I want you to stay there for more than 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell everybody about how they can find you.
Yeah. So we're on Facebook, for sure. I don't remember that link, but just type, Meryl Safe Haven. You can find us. We're also on LinkedIn. I can't go beyond that right now. At some point, I hope to have an Instagram, for you to actually see the work that we're doing. Right now, we're in the middle of our fundraiser. I should say middle. We're at the end. Taking place January 25th. And so we have an event site that you can also go to learn more about the work that we're doing. It has auction and raffle items. And so for some people, it's like, I'm not going to go to a fundraiser. I'm not going to go to an event. It's too people-y. I feel you. But you can engage in the organization's fundraising efforts by being a part of our auction and raffle items. Make a purchase, buy a ticket, nice. That sort of thing. I wanted to make sure folks who aren't local can also participate. I'm not this person, as far as I'm everywhere. I don't think I'm everywhere. But I like to make sure that folks.
Go to her website and you'll see Dr. Tasia everywhere. I'm not making that up.
He's making that up. But the website is merylsafehaven.org. Okay. You can always learn more about what we're doing there. I try to keep Facebook up to date as well. We're just talking about how we need some support in the social media area. I do that too. Yeah. So if anybody out there want to intern or anything like that, we both need you. Yeah. We can use some support.
We need some social media management.
Yeah, we need some help.
Because it's hard. Yeah. And every day is something, and we got to get that information out. And I mean, individually in our own organizations, we're only one person.
Yep.
And we do our best. And shout out to John and Leanne. By the way, did you see my new Family-ins? Oh my God. You'll see. When you watch the show back later, there's a whole strip of alien family members.
Yeah, I like that on your website. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, so shout out to Leanne. She does all the art for us, and she's doing amazing. It takes a team. So and our team needs to expand and grow. So yeah.
But people also need opportunities.
Do you have volunteer opportunities in your organization?
Yeah, volunteer opportunities. As we are opening the doors to our youth program, folks who want to mentor, we're talking again cooking skills. If you're a chef, let us know. If you want to help us to organize donations, I'm going to put a small plug in for Working for Worcester because they're mostly run by college students.
Oh, nice.
And we have been identified to have one of our shelters a bit upgraded so that we are providing something of a pantry to the community as well. And so if you want to be involved in that, I think they have information on the website. So yeah, there's always an opportunity because there's always small projects. Financial education, again, are big pieces of the work that we do. So if that's your skill, join us. We want families to be prepared. We want you to be prepared to transition with savings accounts and stuff.
Dope. And before we go, I really want to make sure that Meryl Safe Haven message is out on our airwaves, on our platform. Just really tell the people what your message is and what they should absorb, what they should really take away from today.
I wish I was prepared for that one. I think the message, I would go to really the motto of the organization. When we first started, I just simply put out shelter the unsheltered. I think there's so much opportunity to just do nice things for people. You might not bring them home, but I'll give an example. Last night, I was driving back. I had to go to the youth center, and there was a gentleman on the bench. I don't know this man. I keep blankets in my car, though. I keep care packages in my car.
And it was cold yesterday.
It was cold
it's cold today,
night.
But it was cold. What was it, 20 degrees last night?
And it gets colder as the night goes on. I saw this gentleman out there. I had a blanket in the car. I pulled over. I gave him a blanket. I had a bottle in my car of apple juice. It's like it's all I had. But it's just being kind.
But it probably meant to the world to that person.
He said thank you. He was trying to keep himself warm. I couldn't place him anywhere in that moment, but at least it was an opportunity to say, here is something.
Make a situation just that much better if you can.
If it's a small glimpse of there's kindness in the world, then that's my opportunity.
Right.
For someone to know that someone else hears them and cares about.
Absolutely. Teresa, thank you. No, Maria, Teresa. Yeah, I know. It's sort of Facebook thing. But Maria, we love you. Thank you. She put the website in the chat. So
Perfect.
It's already there. If you want to go learn more about Meryl Safe Haven, just go click that link. Get over to the website. And all the social media links are there as well. Very easy to navigate.
Can I put in one more plug?
You can put in as many plugs as you want. We still got like 5 minutes.
Just one. Because I knew I was coming here today, obviously.
Oh, we don't have 5 minutes. Sorry.
What I did right before coming over here is folks have asked me again about tickets. We talked about this beforehand. Tickets close on January 15th, but coming here today, knowing that you got a whole slew of folks that follow you, I opened the tickets again. And
really?
You put in Manny J, all caps, just MANNYJ. You put that in on the ticket site, you'll get 10% off your ticket to come to the fundraiser.
This was a surprise to me, John. You didn't know that.
I did not. So, I literally did it before a game.
You're amazing. So, I was a little sad, that we weren't able to schedule this before ticket sales closed. So this is an amazing piece of breaking news right now.
Yeah.
Is that
just for y'all.
Because you watch Manny J Media, you now have an opportunity to participate in this amazing fundraiser that does so many amazing things for our young folks. Listen,
how long does that last?
I'll keep it up until
John
Monday.
said, how long does it last?
I'll keep it up until Monday.
It'll be there till Monday. So go to the website and get your ticket. Put in keyword
Manny J.
Manny J. MANNYJ. And get yourself 10% off your ticket. And we all got to come together. If you were asking yourself at any point in this program, what can I do? It's that simple. Not only can you buy a ticket, but you get something for it. You get to come and have a good time with us.
Yeah.
A little bit of grub, a little bit of dancing. Right?
Oh, a lot of bit of grub.
We're
going to turn it up, take some pictures.
Hey, listen.
We're good. Live band.
Yeah. Oh, live band.
Yeah.
All right.
Come and cha-cha slide your way through life.
That's so amazing. I'm so excited about that. And this is on January 25th. Is the date it's going to be held. So just a heads up, if you want to go buy your tickets, you could clear your calendar for January 25th right now. And then lastly, I just want one more shout out to what it is that we as a community can do to help you, and how we also may be able to help someone that we know take advantage of the resources.
I think it's that simple, though. It's just take advantage of the resources. If there's a young person you have come in contact with, you don't really know their situation, but there's something happening, engage in a conversation with them or send them our way. We can engage in a conversation with them. If you know of families who are struggling, it's being a resource, right? It's being available. But if you are aware of websites, organizations, allow someone to know that, hey, this person is on my radar. Is there anything that you can do? It takes nothing really to just send a link to someone else or to let them know that, hey, I see you. And I know some people or places that might be able to help you. That's really it.
Speaking of, it takes nothing. A great way to support Meryl Safe Haven is literally to go visit their website, because driving traffic to the website actually assists in what it is you're doing. And go and like and follow their social media, because the more that we can show people who are in a position to sponsor what we're doing that people are engaged, the more likely we are to get those resources that they have, because they know that we're doing the work.
Right. There's always an opportunity to just being aware. I guess I should add that, right? It makes a difference to know what's actually out there. There's some advocacy around the fact of like young people transitioning. There's definitely advocacy around young people in need of shelter. One of the things that we're hoping that we can do with this work is avoid them entering into the family shelter system. And so we get them now between the ages of 18 and 24. I wish we can go younger. We're hopefully avoiding them also entering into that EA system, which now is a family unit, into shelter, because now they have created a savings account and they have some idea of how to just survive.
Right. And another thing we could do as the community, because you wish you could reach them younger, is start having those conversations with these young people younger. So that way when they're 18, they're prepared to go and take full advantage of this program. Dr. Tasia, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Manny.
Man, this was fun. We got to do it again sometime, because this problem will, as sad as it sounds, we're going to end it on a good note, but as sad as this sounds, this problem likely will never end, because it's just the world we live in. So we need to keep having this conversation and making sure that we are here for the children of the future.
Absolutely.
Listen, they're going to be taking over things one day, and we want to make sure that we set them up for success.
When I'm old, I want to make sure that somebody doing something about all things, right?
We got to make sure we got some kind of security for ourselves when we old too. All right, with that being said, it's your boy Manny and
Tasia Cerezo. Dr. Tasia.
That's what I thought. And this has been Manny J Media Interviews, community delivered. Thank you so much. We'll see you real soon. Peace.
Era.